What if everything you thought about happiness was wrong? We chase it in wealth, success, and relationships, yet it slips through our fingers. Why is it so fleeting? Could it be that the secret to lasting happiness isn't something you find but something you unlock within? Stay with me as we journey through an ancient Buddhist tale, a story of wisdom, self-discovery, and the surprising truth about what it means to truly be happy. By the end, you'll not only understand the secret to lasting happiness, but feel empowered to make it your own. Long ago, in a prosperous kingdom nestled between mountains and rivers, there reigned a king named Aaron. Aaron had everything one could desire: power, wealth, and a family that loved him. Yet he was deeply unhappy. His nights were restless, his days filled with a nagging sense that something essential was missing. One day, the king summoned the wisest monks and philosophers from across the land. "Tell me," he commanded, "how can I find happiness that lasts? I have riches and power, yet I feel empty." The scholars debated for hours, offering complex theories and philosophies, but none of their words touched the king's heart. Frustrated, he dismissed them all. Just as the king was about to give up, an elderly servant approached him. "Your Majesty," the servant said, "there is a hermit who lives on the sacred mountain. They say he possesses the wisdom you seek." Desperate for answers, the king set off the next morning with a small retinue. The journey was arduous, the path winding through dense forests and treacherous cliffs. After days of travel, they reached the hermit's simple hut, perched on a ledge overlooking the vast valley. The hermit, an old man with kind eyes, greeted the king warmly. "What brings you here, Your Majesty?" he asked. "I seek the secret to lasting happiness," the king replied. The hermit nodded. "Then you must stay here with me for a time. The answer cannot be given. It must be discovered." Though impatient, the king agreed, hoping the hermit's wisdom would finally fill the void in his heart. Over the weeks that followed, the hermit gave the king 3 lessons, each designed to reveal a deeper truth about happiness. Lesson 1. The empty bowl. One morning, the hermit handed the king an empty wooden bowl. "Go to the stream and fill this with water," he instructed. The king did as he was told, but as he returned, he noticed the bowl was leaking. No matter how carefully he carried it, the water drained out before he reached the hut. Frustrated, he confronted the hermit. "This bowl is useless," the king exclaimed. "It cannot hold water." The hermit smiled. "The bowl is like your mind, Your Majesty. It is full of holes, desires, fears, and comparisons. Until you mend it, no amount of wealth or power will fill you with happiness." The king reflected deeply on this. He realized how his constant craving for more wealth, more power, more recognition, left him feeling perpetually empty. "How do I mend the bowl?" he asked. "By practicing gratitude," the hermit replied. "Appreciate what you have instead of yearning for what you lack." Lesson 2. The falling leaf. One afternoon, the hermit led the king to a tree and asked him to observe its leaves. As they watched, a single leaf detached from a branch and floated gently to the ground. "Happiness is like that leaf," the hermit said. "It comes and goes, rising and falling with the seasons. What makes it last is not clinging to it, but embracing its impermanence." The king was puzzled. "How can I be happy if happiness doesn't last?" "Because true happiness is not in the moment itself, but in your ability to let go," the hermit explained. "When you stop clinging to the past or fearing the future, you discover peace in the present." The king began to see how much of his unhappiness came from resisting change, mourning what he had lost, or fearing what he might lose. He resolved to focus on the present moment, savoring its gifts without attachment. Lesson 3. The mirror of truth. In the final lesson, the hermit presented the king with a small mirror. "Look into this," he said, "and tell me what you see." The king gazed at his reflection. "I see myself," he said. "Do you like what you see?" the hermit asked. The king hesitated. He saw his wealth, his crown, and his title. But he also saw a man weighed down by dissatisfaction and doubt. "Happiness begins with self-acceptance," the hermit said gently. "If you cannot love yourself, no one else's love will satisfy you. If you cannot find peace within, the world will always seem restless." The king spent days meditating on this lesson. Slowly he began to see himself not as a king burdened with responsibilities, but as a human being, deserving of kindness and understanding, especially from himself. When the king finally returned to his palace, he was a changed man. He no longer sought happiness in external achievements. Instead, he practiced gratitude, embraced impermanence, and nurtured self-acceptance. He took time each day to reflect on the blessings in his life, from the warmth of the sun to the laughter of his children. He no longer feared losing his throne or his riches, for he understood that true wealth lay in the present moment, and he treated himself with compassion, forgiving his flaws and celebrating his growth. Over time, the king's newfound peace spread throughout the kingdom. His people noticed his calm demeanor and began to adopt his practices. The entire realm became a place of harmony and contentment, a testament to the king's journey. The secret to lasting happiness. The hermit's lessons reveal 3 profound truths about lasting happiness. Gratitude. Focus on what you have, not what you lack. Gratitude is the antidote to the endless pursuit of more. Impermanence. Embrace the transient nature of life. Let go of the past and stop fearing the future to find peace in the present. Self-acceptance. Love and accept yourself as you are. True happiness begins when you treat yourself with compassion. Practical steps to unlock happiness, to incorporate these lessons into your life. Start a gratitude practice. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Over time, this will shift your focus from scarcity to abundance. Meditate on impermanence. Reflect on the changing nature of life. Practice letting go of attachments and savoring the present moment. Practice self-compassion. When self-doubt or criticism arises, pause and speak to yourself as you would a dear friend. Replace judgment with kindness. Happiness isn't something you find in the world, it's something you cultivate within. Like the king in this story, you too can unlock the secret to lasting happiness by mending the holes in your mind, letting go of what you cannot control, and embracing the beauty of your true self. So, what will you do today to start your journey toward lasting happiness? Share your thoughts and experiences below. Your story might inspire someone else to begin their own. Remember, the path to happiness begins not with chasing, but with unlocking the treasure already within you.